Hello, I'm Kevin Anderson, blogs editor at The Guardian. Welcome to California, the beginning of our cross-country U.S. election road trip. California is also the epicenter of the housing meltdown. No other state, with the possible exception of Florida, has been hit harder by this crisis. Now you're seeing half-finished housing estates. You're seeing more foreclosures a month than you are in sales in some communities. And it's really starting to ripple across the state's economy. Just this week, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger had to beg the federal government for $7 billion to meet the state's obligations, or else he said that the state would run out of money by the end of October. The credit freeze now is really starting to hit. Now, this isn't going to have much of an impact here in California. It's a predictably Democratic state with some pockets of very strong Republican support. So it's not going to really change the dynamics of the race here. But the impact of the housing crisis is definitely being felt elsewhere. In the last 2 weeks, Barack Obama's really started to take a lead in the polls, and a decisive lead in several battleground states, including a major reversal in Florida. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was down by 3 or 4 points. Now he seems to be up with a 4 or 5 point lead. Can he hold it? We'll have to see. But this is definitely something different than we've seen before. The anger in the U.S. electorate is such a change, and it really does seem to be benefiting the Democrats more than the Republicans. But what is interesting to me is whether or not this is something even more than just an electoral shift, more than just something that's happening with this election. If it's something that's actually going to change the expectations of Americans as far as what they expect from their government, and if we're seeing the reversal of the conservative movement that began with Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. Well, that's one of the questions that I hope to find out. We're in LA here for the next week, so if you want to get in touch and tell us how the housing crisis is impacting you, please do. Remember, the blog is guardian.co.uk/roadtrip, and you can always follow us on Twitter at GuardianUSOA.